What does it mean to be middle power in today's world? As a global dynamic shift, countries like South Korea and Australia are increasingly recognized for their diplomatic influence and regional leadership. To gain insight into political identity and international role of such middle powers, we asked students and professors from both Korea and Australia to share their views on middle power diplomacy, domestic politics, and how inclusive policymaking is toward international students and immigrants. To begin, we spoke with lecturer from Kookmin University, Professor Lankov, to gain an expert opinion on South Korea's position as a middle power.
Больше это очень распространенные разговоры, но это попытка выдать желаемое за действительное. Проблема в том, что хотя Корея объективно по всем параметрам действительно является средней силой, на практике в Восточной Азии возможности у таких государств очень ограничены. Для того, чтобы страна размером, условно говоря, с Южную Корею, с ее потенциалом, играла какую-то роль, необходимо, чтобы в регионе было множество государств, примерно равных и, может быть, более слабых, мелких по размерам, слабых по потенциалу.
He also spoke in regard of Korean internal politics toward international students and immigrants.
Иммиграция везде не популярна. В разной степени, но практически во всех развитых богатых странах местное население не очень хочет иметь дело с мигрантами. К Корее это относится в большей степени, потому что Корея – это страна исторически мононациональная. До недавнего времени на ее территории, можно сказать, вообще не было национальных меньшинств. Но единственное национальное меньшинство – это китайцы. Да и те появились только в конце XIX века. Поэтому корейцы заведомо крайне настороженно относятся к иностранцам и крайне не готовы к тому, чтобы пускать иностранцев в свое общество. Ситуация будет улучшаться, но медленнее, чем во многих других странах. Несмотря на катастрофическую низкую рождаемость, Южная Корея не настроена на то, чтобы брать заметное количество иностранцев к себе. Вот примерно так.
Following the expert view, we turn to students to hear how the next generation understand Korea's global role and its impact on international communities.
What do you define a middle power as?
Personally, I would define a middle power as a sort of ally from the bigger powers, and they provide diplomatic relations, economic support, as well as international cooperation. I think that's the easiest way to define a middle power.
So, how about South Korea's position in the world right now?
I think South Korea is also a middle power. They are very strong alliances with the US, and they help keep the security order in the East Asia side.
Do you think that Korean politicians consider international students or immigrants in their decisions in making policies?
I think maybe they do consider us international students and immigrants, but they more like focus on Korean citizens. I think they can make more politics to like help international students, but I think they're doing good right now.
I don't think we have political power. I feel like we are considered important because this might sound a little bit pessimistic, but then in the bigger picture, international students, that's why there's, especially here in the context of South Korea, there's a lot right now because they want their world ranking or their standing to be a little bit higher, and in order for that to happen, they need international students or international people to come here. So I think they see us more as statistics, data, numbers, in that sense, and not an important asset.
After gathering insights from Korea, we reached out to students and experts in Australia to understand how the role of middle power is viewed from abroad.
Politics are forever changing around the world, with relationships between countries straining as a result of the recent battle for global dominance.
Australia is uniquely positioned in world politics as our nation has significant ties to Asia-Pacific and Western countries whilst maintaining its position as a middle power.
To give us some insight into the roles that middle powers play, we asked UQ Senior Lecturer Dr. Frank Moles for his opinion.
A country like Australia can be powerful in one way but less powerful in another way, and that's where the category of middle power starts to crumble a little bit, right? So you can then say, well, in what regards is Australia a middle power?
He also spoke in regard to the recent Australian election and how middle powers, while commonly seen as followers, do have their own ways of standing out.
I would be inclined to say that Australia is a follower, is sort of pushed about by these bigger forces, right? But the fact that we see that the population in its entirety through the democratic process can give off a signal is still not something to be forgotten. Right?
Australia prides itself on being a very multicultural country, with immigration being a major point in our political landscape. The University of Queensland is home to a large number of international students, and we asked Dr. Moles if he believed they have any political power.
Do these students have power or influence? My inclination is to say no. Reason being is they come from very different systems.
In response, we spoke to some international students in the journalism and international relations sectors on their opinion of this matter.
In terms of you, do you think you have any political power in Australia?
I don't think I have. Well, it's not like I don't have any, but I have limited power because I don't get the right to vote. But I don't think it's necessarily only like the right to vote determines whether you have power or not, because as a uni student or as someone who lived there for like 5 years now, I think I have the connection and I have like so I don't know if that's directly relevant or not, but I'm the deputy president of the Justice and the Law Society. So then I raise human rights issues, I organize events like that, and so that's also sort of like a power.
I think so. Even like immigrants who aren't able to vote, at least with like Australia still having very democratic ideals in the foundations of the government, with like freedom of speech and media. Like, I mean, we've seen examples in recent years of like, especially like students in UQ encampments and their protests, and obviously these issues have like made it to mainstream media, and then politicians are forced to consider that. So I think everybody has at least some amount of power in the political system.
No, I don't consider that I am not a local resident. I'm not a PR. I am a foreign student from Hong Kong, so I do not have any political power in the nation.
And do you care about not having any political power?
Not really. Consider I am a foreigner here. I believe my impact or like my political decision that I make would not be so impactful.
This then raises the question, how do our international students feel about Australian politics in comparison to the world?
I think Australia tries to stay in the middle. They try not to be on either side. I use the trade war as an example again. It's not on the China side, it's not on the America side. It's like, oh, I'm doing myself, I'm just here, just don't enter my area, I'm just doing what I'm doing, which is good, I think.
Seeing how Australia reflects American debates right now and what our perspectives are on current US actions. Some of it is kind of concerning to me, but that's just politics in the end, you know. That's all I can say, I guess.